Good morning and welcome to Word Wednesday. I am Pastor Blair. I hope you are doing well. If this is your first time to Word Wednesday, it's where we take a word and look at the scriptures and also how it's relate to what's been going on in my life and hopefully your life as well at some point and juncture. Today's word is resentment. We all have resentment from something in our life. For me right now, I'm in the process of closing one chapter in my life in a couple of months and opening up a new chapter. And in the process of wrapping my head around the closure of this chapter in my life, and preparing for what is to come and also preparing the person who is following me, I look at a lot of things and I'm filled with a lot of resentment of, man, I wish I would have done that. And a lot of it is self-resentment, resentment towards myself. And for me, that's one of the hardest resentments to get over. And sometimes we have resentment towards other people, other situations. And the fact is, if we hang on to resentment, it always hurts us more than anyone else. If we hang on to resentment, it always hurts us more than anyone else. Resentment is self-destructive and also counterproductive. And in the Good News translation of the Bible, we read in Job chapter 5, verse 2, this. It says, "To worry yourself to death with resentment would be a foolish, senseless thing to do." The thing about that, we're all filled with, we worry about stuff. And for me, I resent the fact of some changes that are happening in my life. I resent the fact that that there are certain things that I wanted to try to do, but the pandemic has gotten in the way, and I'm filled with different resentments, and it's something that I'm working on. And if anyone had a reason to be resentful, it was Job. He was a godly man. He was a man who had everything he wanted. He was successful. He had a successful farm, a successful business, a wonderful family, a wonderful life. And then one day he lost it all. Enemies killed all of his livestock. All of his children died in a horrific storm. And he got a terrible disease. He literally lost everything. And at his lowest point, his wife even chirped in and said, "Why don't you just curse God and die?" But then a group of friends came along and said, "Job, it's all your fault." Man, what a wonderful wife and a wonderful friends. Curse God to die, and then you got friends saying it's all your fault. But in the midst of a lot of bad advice giving, one of his friends shared a word of wisdom. And he insisted to Job that growing resentful was a bad idea. He said this in Job chapter 5, verse 2, which I already read. He said again, "To worry yourself to death with resentment would be a foolish, senseless thing to do." Job's friend was a wise man. He knew that even in the midst of such great heartache, resentment wouldn't help. In fact, it would make things worse. If you think back through your experiences in your own life, you would probably agree you've probably done some things that you regret, said some things that you regret when you were caught up in the heat of the moment. And because of that, you may be filled with resentment. Feel like you can't even come back because of the things that you said or did. And that's how strong that resentment has on you. But when we give into resentment, you end up acting in this self-destructive way, and you hurt yourself much more than those you're holding your grudge against. Resentment makes you miserable, and it never ends up with you or me getting what I want. So why hold on to resentment for one more minute? Let go of resentment today and choose to forgive and enjoy living in the freedom it brings. For me personally, I have a situation where I had a lot of resentment, and I decided not to hold it in for any longer and just ask for forgiveness and just move on. And it's just been so freeing. It's been so helpful. It's been so life-giving. So in the description below or above, depending on which platform you're watching this on, there's some questions that I want you to think over. One is, what are some of the ways you've seen resentment hurt you or someone you care about? How has your life changed for the better when you've let go of hurt rather than hanging on to resentment? And what past hurts do you need to forgive in order to let go of lingering resentment? That last one is the hardest one for me to answer. What past hurts do I need to let go and forgive in order to let go of that lingering resentment? And so I encourage you today and the rest of this week to really ponder those questions, really examine your life. What resentment do you have that you're holding on to, and how is that helping or hurting you? Is it dividing you, pushing you away from people? Or is it time to let it go so you can draw close and to be free? Because in the end, it only really hurts you for the most part. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. God bless. And remember, the best is yet to come, and hope you can join us next Wednesday for our next word, which is, drumroll please, ba-da-da-da. You'll have to wait until next week. Ha, gotcha. Anyway, take care. God bless. Remember, the best is yet to come, and see you next week.